But now he says, چون نزد عارف حق عبارت از وجود مطلق است می‌فرماید دلی که از معرفت نور و صفا دید ز هر چیزی که دید اول خدا دید. So we're introducing another line, and he says, since according to the Gnostic, true reality is simply an expression that means absolute existence. So again, so consider how lovely that is. Like we're trying to narrow down, what do they mean by these words? And the strange thing is that it turns out just everything we see is true reality. You see, but it depends how we're seeing it, the degree we will understand it. So he says, since for the Gnostic, true reality is the expression that means the absolute existence, the poet, meaning Shabastari, says, the translation I give for this one, in Gulshan Raz, is a heart that is illuminated by gnosis sees God first in anything it looks upon. A heart that is illuminated by gnosis sees God first in anything it looks upon. Deli ke az ma'rifat nur o safa did ze har chizi ki did awal khuda did. Isharat badan ast که دریابنده حقایق امور در نشای انسانی که خلاصه سوار کیانی است، دلی هست که با نور معرفت منور گشته باشد و مظهر شان الهی دل است و انسانیت انسان با اوست. اشارت بدان است که دریابنده حقایق امور در نشای انسانی که خلاصه سوار کیانی است، دلی است که به نور معرفت منور گشته باشد و مظهر شان الهی دل است و انسانیت انسان با اوست. So here he says, this line about the heart, it is making reference to this, that the one who is has experienced and found the true reality of the nature of things in the human formation which is the summary and representation of all of the form of the universe, is the heart, meaning the one who is actually experiencing this is the heart. Heart is a terminology special in mystical language, and it refers to the true mind. It doesn't refer to the lump of flesh, it refers to the core. Heart means like the center, the core, the most important thing. So he's saying that's the one that is really the discoverer of the true reality of things in the human being who is the summation, the representation of all of the forms of the universe and the world. It is the heart. And the heart, through the light of mystical understanding, or gnosis, as we say, the heart becomes luminous. The heart, we would say, becomes enlightened. The heart is enlightened and becomes the locus for God's articulations, for the divine articulations. They will occur in the heart. And the humanity of the human being is because of the heart. What he says, huh? و عارف کسی بود که حضرت الهی او را و مرتبه شهود ذات و اسما و صفات خود رسانیده باشد و این مقام به طریق حال و مکاشفه بر او ظاهر گشته باشد و آن دل که بدین کمال متصف گشت ز هر چیزی که مشاهده می نماید اول خدا را می بیند و حق را باطن، زیرا که اظهار اشیا هستی حق است. او یعنی حق به خود پیداست و پیدایی اشیا دیگر به واسطه اوست. نمی بینی که فرزند اگر صورتی از دور مشاهده می شود اول موجودیت او مفهوم می گردد و اما گاه باشد که از غایت بعود مکان معلوم نگردد که آن صورت انسان است یا فرس یا غیر آن، بلکه در همه حال به حقیقت آنچه مدرک می شود وجود است، زیرا که غیر او عدم است. ولی لذا محقق می فرماید که الحق محسوس و الحق معقول. So we translate this interesting paragraph. So he already mentioned what the heart was. It was the core of humanity. It was the one who was experiencing things. Now he says the Aref is the person that the divine presence has shown to this person at the level of the witnessing of the essence and the names and the qualities. God has shown this person these different levels of his self-manifestation and has caused him to reach these levels. And this station is arrived at by way of spiritual state and unveiling, which is made manifest by God to him or her. And the heart, which has been given this perfection and has the quality of this perfection, anything that it witnesses whatsoever, the first thing that it sees is God when it looks upon any of these things. And for this person, it is the creation that has become hidden because the manifestation of the things is actually the existence of true reality, of the Haqq, who becomes self-evident and manifest through himself. And the visibility and manifestation of the things can only occur by means of his existence. Do you not see, for example, that a form or a person or a thing is seen from far away? The very first thing that is recognized is its existence. That's the first thing that a person grasps. But sometimes, because this is occurring at a distant place, it is not clear whether this form is a person or a horse or something other than that. But On the other hand, in every instance, the reality that is perceived is existence, meaning it exists. We don't yet know what it is. So he's now talking about the universal quality of existence versus the specific differentiation of it. Because other than existence, there is only non-existence. Therefore, the realized one, Haqq, says that the true reality is sensed by me. I recognize the true reality. And the creation is surmised by the intellect. You see? So he's giving an example. And he says in Persian, Dar Beiti Sabet, فرمود که نخستین نظره بر نور وجود است و در این بیت میگوید که هر چیزی که دید اول خدا دید تا معلوم گردد که بر اصطلاح محققان این طایفه خدا عبارت از وجود واحد است. This is an important saying, huh? So I'm just going to actually translate to here because it's an important next thing to understand. It says in the earlier couplet, he said the first thing that he sees is the light of existence. But in this couplet, he says, of anything and everything it sees, the first thing it sees is God. So that it becomes clear to you that according to the language of the realized ones, of this tribe of the realized Sufis and the realized ones, the word God is simply an expression that means absolute existence. So you see what he's done in this progression, he has slowly stripped away your own veils, even intellectually stripping away what you thought that God was separate from the world, let's say. He's stripping away your own hallucination even through language. He's inviting you to do it through experience, but he's stripping it away, no? So he says, going on, he says, تا معلوم گردد که به اصطلاح محققان این طایفه خدا عبارت از وجود واحد است که هر جا با نوعی تجلی نموده و مکاشفت علی کشوف به حسب اختلاف مشارب و ازمنه مختلف افتاده و لحظا هر کسی در هر زمانی به موجب تصریف اسم الهی از مقام دیگر خبر میدهند. یکی میفرماید که ما رأیتو شیئا الا و رأیتو الله قبله و بیان این مرتبه گذشت. So we'll stop there because he already explained this level. So he says where we left off is that God refers to absolute existence, and here he says which everywhere in different forms and modalities is self-manifesting and revealing himself. God is. And the unveiling, the revelation for the people of unveiling happens despite the difference of their personal natures or the difference of the times, different times. And because of this, everyone and anyone at any particular time, according to God's changing modalities through the divine names, these Sufis, these people he's talking about, everyone is giving different voice, we would say, to their experience. And one of them says, I have not seen anything or any of the things except that I have already seen God before them. See? And he said, and then he says, and the explanation of this level has already occurred, meaning what we read earlier. Agreed? It's true, he already explained it, huh? Because before the poetic verse was, the first thing he sees is the light of God, and he doesn't see anything except he first sees God. So he says that level, they've already been explained. Agreed? Okay. And he says, و بیان این مرتبه گذشت و دیگری میگوید که ما رأیت شیئا الا و رأیت الا بعده و آن چه آن حقیقت به عوارض مشخصه و پرده تعیینات مستتر گشته و اول نظر بر نقاب می افتد و آنگاه بر شاهد. Okay, so we had the first one, they see God first. The second one, he sees God afterwards, he said. So he says, the second level, because remember the talk tonight is about the Marotebe al-Kashf. And the first level was very high, it's Fanal Filal. It's Fanal Mutlaq. But now he's descending actually to a lesser level. Because the first level, the result is the person says, I don't see anything, but always I see God first. And now he's descending to an easier level, you could say, that most people experience. And he says for this tribe, because he says each person is giving voice to their own experience. Then he's quoting Moraitu Shayhan Ella, you know, I have not seen the things except that first I did this or first I did this. Okay, so the second level, he says, the other one says, I have not seen anything except that then I saw Allah after I saw the thing. So he still sees Allah, but he doesn't see Allah first. He sees Allah after the fact. So it'd be like if I was looking at the rose, and I need the rose to see God. So the rose is like a way for me to see God, and I don't see God first. I see the rose, and the rose either makes me think of God, or it makes me recognize God's presence. Or I see my children, or I see something that makes me remember God. It becomes a zikr. Okay? So there has to, I'm lost, the reason zikr is I should wake up, I should remember, yeah? The first level, they cannot forget. They're unable to forget the zikr. The second level, they need something to remind them. So that's the level he's talking about here. So he says, this one says, at first I don't see the thing except that, and then after it, I always see God. Huh? And he says, and this, because that reality is hidden, he says, through personal affliction or through the veil of of individual selfhood. So he's giving us a combination. You've got individual selfhood already veiling you, but then affliction will make you veiled. See? So when he says, awareze mushahasa, this means the kind of personal things that affect you in life and suddenly throw you off balance. So throw people off balance. But already they are off balance because they have the veil of personhood. And he says, veils the true reality, and the first thing the person sees is they're looking upon the veil, and they realize that there's the beauty of the beloved under the veil. So first they see the veil, and then they become aware that there must be the shahed here means the beloved, okay? The witness, the one who represents beauty. So we can stop there for a minute and say, do we understand he's made a shift, and can we more easily relate to the second level? I think most people can more easily relate to the second level. Not everybody will. Most people will see things and it doesn't make them think of God. He's saying, I do not see anything except that after I see that thing, I see God. This is a very high level. Agreed? But it's lower. It's a different level, isn't it? Or another way you could say it is that it's a more complete level because in the sense of not complete like better, but just has more involved to it because first he sees the thing and then after that introduces him to God. So it's like a different path, but it's a more accessible path. But it's one that I think most of us have experienced in our life. You look at the flowers, you look at beautiful children, you look at the beauty, or you even think of the beauty of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or you think of the beauty of something, and then it causes you to think of God, or to actually experience in your heart, to experience the reality of God. Huh? Anybody have comment on that level? Question. How are you?
Great.
Good. Did you come so that your name would resonate so we would know that Haris is 24 today?
Serious?
So, because you know his birthday's today?
No,
yeah.
Birthday, man.
Okay. So, how are you?
Somewhat okay. I rolled my ankle, so I've just been home rehabilitating.
No skateboarding?
No skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks.
Well, probably you can see God if you're out skateboarding. See, so you have to wait, heal up, and then you can go skateboarding. Okay.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Does it take a long time to heal?
Yeah, they assigned me more pills and fingers and toes added. I didn't want to take that, so I'm just going to do it the hard way, which is working out and stuff.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Well, inshallah, you'll get well soon.
Hopefully, it's been 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, John, that makes sense. Anybody else? Inshallah. Very good. So now he goes on. Yeah.
شما فرمودین که نظر و اشیایی که طرف دلچسبی و محبت یا فرزند اطفال میبینین یا فرزند هنگار میبینین درخت میبینین گل میبینین و دفتا به یاد یک کسی میفتین یا به یاد چیز میفتین که الله تعالی شما به این ترتیب خود به الله نزدیک میکنین. آیا همه تو چیزی است که ما فهمیدین یا چیزی؟
بله درست است. و یا اما اینم very good. So now he goes on.
شما فرمودین که نظر و اشیایی که طرف دلچسبی و محبت یا فرزند اطفال میبینین یا فرزند هنگار میبینین درخت میبینین گل میبینین و دفتا به یاد یک کسی میفتین یا به یاد چیز میفتین که الله تعالی شما به این ترتیب خود به الله نزدیک میکنین. آیا همه تو چیزی است که ما فهمیدین یا چیزی؟
بله درست است. و یا اما اینم یعنی هر مرتبه مراتب خود دارد. مثلا بعضی نفر صوفی هست، در مقام تصوف است، لیکن در زندگی بعضی وقت کسی مخلوق میشه از چیزها، تکلیفها، مشکلها، اندیشه ها که یا چند دقیقه یا چند ساعت یا چند روز شاید در قبض برسد. و فرق است بین بست و قبض، لیکن ما نمیتونیم بگیم که یکی بهتر از دیگر است، درست؟ و ببینید که کسی که فانی فلا مثلا مرتبه اول او بخی رفت آزاد، بخی آزاد شد که او خدا میبیند به دیده خدا و این مرتبه کسی پس آمد به خود، یعنی در بقا هست و از بقا هم چند مرتبه هست، اما این بقا که میشه به هر کسی که هر چند که به چیزی روحانیتش که کاملتر شود، لیکن هنوز که میشه بعضی وقت در قبض میرسه. در قبض مثلا چند روز مثل استاد ما شما بعضی وقت با من تلفن میکردن گفتم که من در قبض هستم. گفت که من چه باید بکنم؟ از من چرا پرسی؟ شما خودتان از من هزار چند که بیشتر از من که میشناسید، لیکن من فکر میکنم در کسی مثل شمایی که از قلبتان که خمخانه عارفان است که یقین دارم که در چند روز که باز که مست میشه دیگر و همینطور بود، نه که بعد از چند روز که باز که مست شد، باز که در بس بود و باز آگاه شد مثلا. لیکن بعضی وقتی که تکان میشه، مثلا کسی که غافل شد دفعتاً غافل شد یا در یعنی مجادله یا جنجال یا تشویش که باشد دفعتاً مثلا چیزی میبینن، گل عادی نمیبینن که این خداست، اما کسی که صوفیست که ایره که ذکر میشه هر چیزی که الله تعالی میگه آیات ما کلش ذکر است و هر لحظه که آیات دیگر که میرسانم پیش شما که بیدار شوید. یعنی ببینید که من چه میگم که پس این نفر که توسط آن چیزی که چیزی میبیند پس دفعتاً پس بعداً که آگاه از باز آگاه شد در دل. بعضی نفر در عقل که آگاه میشه، یعنی صوفی نیست، لیکن او به این مرتبه مجازی میتونیم بگیم که به این مرتبه رسیده باشد، از اینکه او یک چیزی که مثلا مبتدی بگیم که خب این گل ها سعی کنی خدا را ببینید مثلا در این گل، یا خدا را ببینید در چشم طفل، یا خدا ببینید در این یا آن و از اینکه تمامش که از وجود الله هست، از لطف الله هست مثل آن. لیکن او که از عقل میفهمد فرق زیاد است، نه؟ لیکن چیزی شما گفتی درست است.
مخصوصا من دکتره که شکوفه جانک میبینم
او تجلی مطلق است دیگر
که او در میبینم چه دفعتاً احساس میکنم که یک چیز دیگر ما مس کردیم که در نظر من در فکر من و از او لذت میبرم. بازم چند دقیقات یا 5 دقیقات باز متوجه طفل میشم و از مهالتی که من احساس داشتم از او پس میبرم و متوجه طفل میشم و یک خوشی و یک لذتی به من دست میکنم و فکر میکنم که حتما این جذبه یعنی طفل است توسط از این احساس پیدا کردیم و یا اینکه محبت خداوند است که به دل ما افتاده و قلب ما افتاده و پیدا شده از احساسی که ما پیدا کردیم. فرموده شما که گل گفتین و اطفال دیدین یا چشم طفل گفتین، ما متوجه اعمالی که چگه که شروع میکشم و نمو به یاد و خاطر ما مثلا یک جان ممنون از تذکر شما.
ملت عشق از همه دین ها جداست، عاشقان را ملت و مذهب جداست. یعنی ما اهل عشق یعنی که تمام گپ در محبت می باشد، درست؟ و لیکن محبت بعضی وقت یک نشان دارد، نه؟ در دل می آید، از یاد می آید، مستقیم دیده میشه، لیکن تمامش باز یعنی شهود چه؟ شهود الله، شهود عشق، تجربه عشق که پیدا می شود توسط آن چیزی که اول او را دیدم یا تخیل کردم، تصور کردم یا مستقیم واقعا که دیدم، او یک ذکر است از الله تعالی، درست؟ و یا که من تجربه تصوفی دارم که باز در صدر تجربه دارم از حضرت الله، یا کسی در عقل میبینی که خدا بزرگ است، قشنگ است، یا کسی دیگر در احساس میگه که من یعنی این نفر یا این چیزا من با آن چیز محبت دارم مثلا. و ما عاشقی گرزین سر و گزن سر است، عاقبت ما را بدان سر رهبر است، نه؟ که برای اونایی که ببینید که توحید یعنی توحید وجود است، توحید شهود است، توحید عشق است، کلش یک چیز است در تصوف. و کسی که تجربه دارد که و جای میرسد که او میبیند توحید، یعنی که او خودش عیانی فهمیده که کلش یک چیز است که خداست و نام خدا، لیکن کلش مثلا یا بگویم که عشق، یا بگویم که شهود، یا وجود، کلش که وجود مطلق الله هست. میبین؟ از این میگن. Thank you. Yes. So yes, the beautiful child, the beautiful daughter of Shagufa, she becomes the shahed, you could say. The shahed is the witness, meaning witnesses God's divine kindness and beauty and also mirth, we say in English, like laughter, happiness, and also willfulness and other things too. She represents many things. But what you're saying is, in every case, she brings you back to your humanity, to your humanity, to your love. She acts as a zikr, you see. So God says He sends ayat all the time to us, so that we stay close to the mercy. And so we need that. We need that. Okay. So yeah, good. And now he says, as I was saying to you, he says, I only have 10 more minutes tonight, so I'm going to just finish this section. He says, وَصَاحِبِ إِن مَرْتَبَةِ ذُو الْعَقْلِ مِنَامَند که حق را ظاهر می‌بیند و حق را باطن، و حق نزد وی مراد حق است و مراد و صورتی که ظاهر است در آن مراد مخفی است، همچو اختفای مطلق در مقید. و این مرتبه عکس مرتبه ذوالعین است که گذشته گفتم، نه؟ و دیگری فرمود که ما رأیتو شیئا الا و رأیتو الله فیه، چه صور آیان ممکنات از روی تمثال جام و کاس که آن معنای حقیقی هستند که معبر و باده گشته است. So here he's saying that there's the level, the possessor of this level is the possessor of Haqq, of intellect. They in other words, they don't have to be, but normally they're not Sufi yet. They need the intermediary. They need the intermediary. So they're called the possessor of the correct intellect, true intellect, we would say. Not the intellect makes us go astray, but the correct intellect. And he says, which sees the creation as apparent and sees the true reality as hidden. And the true reality, according to his or her way of seeing things, is the true reality is the mirror for the creation. So it's the creation what's seen, and this time the mirror is the true reality, huh? And so it's opposite of what he said earlier. And he says, so it is the mirror for the creation, which, when a form is manifest in that mirror, it makes the mirror disappear. You can't see it. Because there's a form, the creation is seen in the mirror, and the activity of the form causes you not to see the mirror itself, causes the mirror to become hidden. He says, just like the disappearance of the absolute in the limited, in anything limited, it causes, or the finite causing the infinite to suddenly vanish, you see, appearing to vanish. And he says, this level is the opposite of the level of the possessor of the mystical seeing, which was spoken about before. But now yet another person says, I have not seen anything except that I saw God in it. And so here he says, because the forms of the essences of the possible things, by way of metaphor and comparison, are the cup of, or the glass, and this is a spiritual reality that is really true, and that the spiritual reality is the wine that is inside of it. So just like when Hafiz is the most famous for this, Saki banuri boda parafruz jame mo motrebu ke kar jahan shod va kamel mo ma dar piyala aksi ruhi yadi daimai bekhar az lezat shube mudam mo. So this is exactly what he's talking about here. So now we have the third level. I don't see anything, but I see God in that thing. The other level was, I don't see anything, but first I see the thing, and then I see God. And then the very first level was, I don't see anything, but first I saw God, and then I saw the thing, right? And there's one more level, and then I can take off. And we have a little bit of time, maybe. But he says, actually there's the three levels. Huh? So he says, no, there's one more. There's one more. He says, وَدِگَرِی این نغمه می‌سراید که ما رأیت شیئا الا و رأیت الا معه، زیرا که با حکم اتحاد مظهر و ظاهر عاشق و معشوق در خارج از یکدیگر ممتاز نیستند. اگرچه عقل حکم به تمایز بینها می نماید و هر یکی را به حقیقت غیر دیگر می شمارد. So he says that there's another level. This person is like in a drunken singing, huh? He's singing, and he's singing that I have not seen anything except that I have seen God is with it, with that thing. See? So the idea of being with the thing. Like, what's like with the thing? What's it like? وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. So this is a divine statement, actually, that God says from his side, right? I'm with him wherever he is. So this idea of being with is very, very big in the language of spirituality of Islam, and God's own language about being with the person for intimacy and love. And here he explains, he says, because according to the determination or the dictum of the unity of the mazhar and the zahir, meaning the divine theophany and the place of the theophany. He's saying they are the same thing. The unity of, like saying the unity of the reflection and the mirror, see? And he says, or if you wish, the unity of the lover and the beloved, that they're actually the same. Meaning, according to one point of view, somebody who is drunk and who is singing this, they are not seeing that it's possible for them to be separate. For the reason we pointed out earlier, that there's only one love. So there's only, like, you're positioning yourself in the sea of this love, and you either can be the love, or you could be the one who is the lover, or you could be the one who is the beloved, but in all cases you are only the one love, according to this drunken vision of the unity of love. A lot of poetry about this, huh? A lot of poetry. Like you cannot distinguish. You cannot distinguish. You are drunk, huh? He's singing, he's probably drunken Sufi singing, huh? So, and he says, despite the intellect's judgment, which sees the distinction between them, and insists and recognizes that the reality of one is separate from the reality of the other one. Just the intellect is doing that. He says, but this person, they cannot see that distinction. They are not being philosophers. They simply can't see the distinction anymore. It was destroyed, huh? in their spiritual drunkenness. So, and he says, وصاحب این دو مرتبه اخیره که فیه و معهو گفتند ذو العقل و العین میخواند که حق را در خلق میبیند و خلق را در حق مشاهده مینماید و با شهود یکی از آن دیگر محتجب نمیگردند، بلکه وجود واحد را از وجهی حق میبیند و از وجهی خلق و بر رویت کثرت مظاهر از شهود وجه واحد متجلی در آن متجب نمی شوند. So he says, and the possessor of these last two levels that I explained, which was in it, fihe, or mahu, and with it, he says, these are the people, they are called the possessor of the mystical vision and of the true intellect, meaning they are a possessor of both of them simultaneously, because he sees the true reality in the creation, and he sees the creation in the true reality, witnesses that. And through the witnessing of the one, he's not veiled from the other perception. On the contrary, he sees the unitary existence from one aspect. He sees as the Haqq, and from another aspect he sees as the creation, meaning the unitary existence. For him, they're the same thing. One aspect or the other aspect, he's saying, huh? Wajhi. And through the vision of the multiplicity of the theaters of manifestation, through the vision of the multiplicity of those theaters, those places of manifestation, he is not veiled from the witnessing of the one solitary divine manifestation happening in every one of them. Is it clear? That's beautiful, huh? So these are the levels that I wanted to introduce you tonight according to Lahiji. There's the 4 levels which the last two are the completed levels. Huh?
Right. So the 4 levels, it's not seeing anything, seeing God before it.
Yeah,
That was the highest.
yeah,
Then there was not seeing anything, but it reminding me.
well, he says elo, so not seeing anything except first seeing the creation and then seeing God. And the first one was not seeing anything except first seeing God and then the creation. And the whole beginning of the poem that he's commenting on the Shabbos story is really the first level. The longest commentary was at the beginning, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But now this is the same thing. It's the same. Sufism has evolved from stressing transcendence, and it has evolved, and it's now stressing after several hundred years with Hafiz, with Maulana, with Ibn Arabi, stressing baqa.
Mm-hmm.
And we would call it integration. So that these separate levels, and now they become integrated. And he says a person is not veiled from the one from the experience of the other one. Temporarily they may be focused on it, but they are not veiled from the other one. And this is, if you read all of progressive Sufism, like look at the work that when I was working with Mehmet Selim and Yanis Tasoulis, we were translating this section. If you go back to his book, have you seen Yanis Tasoulis' book? You will see the different levels, and you'll see exactly what they're saying here. But I wanted to read you the original beautiful description by Lahiji tonight.